What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wreck Bike Rebuild, Episode 9, Season 4, the Paningli series.
Love it.
I want it to be the Paningli series now. So, guys, on the last episode, well, first, this is a motorcycle build show here on YouTube, funded via our beautiful people over on Patreon. We take wreck bikes, we turn them into dream bikes, and then we
Give them away.
Damn right we do. So this is our 2016 Panigale 959. On the last episode, we installed the clear clutch cover,
Correct.
which is not able to be said quickly, but it's okay. On today's episode, we have some beautiful Öhlins front forks that we cannot install because the front of the bike is all goofed up. And by goofed up, I mean
Crashed.
that.
Broken. Wrecked.
Wrecked. So on today's episode, the goal is we got a big old box full of OEM stuff, and we are going to replace the lower triple clamp and then get everything back reassembled. That's
Correct.
like our,
That's the plan.
okay.
Plan of action.
The plan of action. And then we have to get everything put back on the bike because we need it to be able to be rolled because we got a secret project we're working on. We can't really,
And we're gonna need the lift for our new project.
yeah, we can't talk about the secret project or what it is, or you'll find out at some point in time. Brian, if we're doing stuff on the front, I'm gonna be willing to bet that we need to. I've seen you do
we
this
would
kind of
we would
stuff
have
before.
to we would have to do lots of strapping and whatnot if it was done in this direction. So
Okay.
it would just make a whole lot more sense to roll the bike off, turn it around on the lift,
Right.
put the rear wheel in the wheel clamp, and then we have full access to the front. You ready?
I'm ready as I'll ever be. Where do you strap a bike when you have it reversed on the lift?
Well, usually you strap it to part of the subframe. Unfortunately, we kind of can't do that right now, can we?
No, we're not going to install the subframe to do that, right?
Nope.
Okay.
So
Can we do the side stand?
we're gonna go just like that.
Okay. Well, there's your side. Have fun.
Oh, because the strap won't. Yeah.
Nope. But we could do it to one of the other loops, but it would pull it forward.
Yeah, pulling it forward's not a great idea though.
Why don't we just attach it to the exhaust?
I think maybe we should attach it to the. I guess you can go to the rear set on this side.
Okay.
We took the rear set off of this side, so there's just this little piece of subframe for the foot peg rear suspension mount. So we'll go to that on there, and
Okay.
yeah, that should do it.
Dude, having the bike in this direction is really weird. Jesus. Brian over here strongmanning it, moving the whole damn lift.
Okay. It's in the chalk and there's straps on.
Bro,
It's
you
not
got
going
so
nowhere.
much faith in stuff. I do not.
Ready? Take off the ramp and crank her up.
Oh, guys, I figured out the front brake issue.
Yeah, slight problem. Okay.
All right, I imagine. Wait, are we going to use the front
Yes.
pit bull thing?
As well as flat jack.
Okay, so I already had a pit bull front stand, but we did have to order a new, just pin, yeah, to fit the Paningli. Now, Not gonna lie, it's been a minute since I used one of these. So
this goes in here.
Okay. So that goes like up under there, right?
That's it. Yep, you had it. Right there.
And then position this to.
And just push it down.
Okay. Jesus.
Okay.
God, that was terrifying. Holy shit. So these don't have to rest on that?
No, because we're holding it from here. Okay, so to get this part off,
Right.
we have to remove everything.
All this stuff?
Well, this is trapping the fork legs. And the fork legs go through the triple, so we
Right.
need to take the fork legs out.
Okay, so where do you start with so much stuff?
So I know I said in one of the previous videos that you start with the hard stuff and leave the easy stuff for last.
Sure.
This particular case, we're gonna do that in the opposite direction.
So we're gonna do the easy stuff first?
We're gonna do the easy stuff first,
Got it.
save the hard stuff for the end,
Okay.
and we'll do it that way. Start off with the brake calipers, the front wheel, then the upper triple,
Okay.
then the clip-ons handlebars,
Okay.
and then drop the fork legs out. And then we need to change gears from that point.
Okay.
So let's just get all that stuff taken off, and then we'll move forward after that. Gentle now. Don't drop it on anything down here, man.
Right.
Getting all crazy about it
right.
and stuff. I'm just gonna set this aside for the time being.
Is there anything else like super pressure that I need to do up here while I've got my man strength?
Did you say super pressure and man strength?
Yeah, do I need to be strong to do anything else?
In my opinion, live your life, but that's a whole nother situation. So, we've got the wheel off. We've got the upper triple off.
Right.
Now, when we put these back on, we need to know where they need to go,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
So
Can
how-
this not? Oh, you're talking about the forks.
The forks themselves. When the forks go back in, we need to know how far they need to go in.
Right. So how do you
So
draw on
being,
it? Or?
being that that top triple clamp slides on the top, you can't really use this measurement
Right.
between the top triple clamp and the top of the fork.
Okay.
Okay, so the spec that we're going to use to put these back in, and we could do it two ways. Like you said, we could just take a non-permanent marker and just make a line on each fork leg,
Okay.
or we could be a little bit more,
Tape it.
that would be the same as using a marker.
Okay.
We could be a little bit more technical about it, is what I was going to say, and measure it. So we're going to measure from the top of the lower triple to the top of the fork leg
How do you do that though with stuff in the way?
with a tape measure. I'll show you. Good God.
I think it's going to be skewed because you have an element in the way. Oh, son of a bitch. Ah, dang it. Okay.
So right now this is set at 10 and 1/8 inches. I know we really shouldn't be using inches here because it's all about metric on this bike, but we
10
have
and 1/8?
10 and 1/8 of an inch is how far the forks are set into the lower triple clamp. Not 10.18.
No, I realized that, but instead of here, Brian, let me give you your fractions.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, 8s are hard, man.
Is that a 5 or an S?
I'm gonna punch you, not the camera. All right, so now we know our distance. We don't have to tape because we have math. The next is to remove the other easy thing. We can't do that until, or can we just take these off and hang them with all the wires?
Yes.
Okay. This is me feeling cool.
It's a thumbnail, dude. Right there.
No, so we are obviously replacing the forks because we gave the people a sneak peek, but are these good enough to sell?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little scratch in one of them on the
Still
outer
feels
fork.
like it's working really good.
Yeah, they're not leaking. They're not bent. You know, there is a rotate this, turn it right here. There's a little scratch right here on the outer fork that's not going to affect any way that it performs.
Right.
As long as there are no scratches in the shiny slide part,
Okay.
we're good. They would be reusable.
So Brian, what you're
But we're
telling me
upgrading.
is if I had a used bike parts website page that these were on for a great
Don't wreck them.
price, we could sell them. Man, if only there was a link in the description. We're gonna have a page by the time this episode comes out. All the used stuff on the bikes that we take off, that we can sell, that's usable, that we're upgrading, gonna have a page. So if you guys want that stuff, parts in the description. Okay, so I'm good to take the other one off, right?
Yes.
Okay. I see space in between. I will begin process.
So we have one more part to take off.
The horn?
No, we could take that off after we get the triple off. We need to take off this wire stay and hose stay.
Okay.
You're learning. Old Chase would have taken that bolt all the way out.
Old
threw
Chase
it
is
on the floor somewhere.
Old Chase is gone and dead. I absorbed him.
Ugh.
No, it's another Dwight quote. All right, those boys are right there.
Now here's where we have an issue. Just leave that. Leave that right there. We don't need to move that anywhere. It could stay just like that.
Okay.
So right now we need to take this triple off, but we're holding the bike up from the bottom of the triple.
Correct.
So now we need to support the bottom of the bike so we could take this part out of here.
Before we get to that point, I want to do some slow-mo shots of up here and show the new one, because like we've never been able to see these things as
broken
effed
off.
up as they
Yeah.
are. So let's do some slow-mo shots of this guy and then show off what the new one looks like, because it is polarizing as hell.
Yeah. This lower triple is actually sand cast. And then after it's been casted, they go through and they machine out all the holes, all the threading, the spaces where the forks go in. They machine out all these flat parts. This is where the horn bracket bolts in. And then, as you can see, they machine out as much as they possibly can. And then, where's the flashlight that Luke just threw on the floor? So, this thing is so lightweight that you could literally see light all the way through it. There's as little material here as is possibly needed for the strength. This
So that's
is
why
a
there's little
super
strips?
lightweight. Yeah, they're just taking excess material off so it's lighter.
Oh, okay.
You don't need to have these spaces in between for it to have the strength to wrap around the fork and hold it in place.
Oh.
So they just don't put it there.
Okay.
And then, you know, being able to look through it, all the material that's missing inside, you don't need all that excess material for
Right.
the amount of forces that go on it. So they make it as light as they possibly can where it'll still handle all the forces necessary
Okay.
to not break. We're at a point now where we need to get the lower triple off, but we're holding the bike up by the lower triple.
Correct.
So now we have to support the bike someplace else so we can get this off of here so we can take the triple out.
Right. So we were talking about using a block of wood on a lift at the oil little spot.
So it's the bottom of the engine case or the oil pan. I guess, if you will.
Okay.
So we're going to support the motorcycle from the bottom using the mufflers and the oil pan all
Now, if you guys
together
are
at the same
worried,
time.
like we were all trying to figure out earlier before we started filming, we've got our brand new Turbignone exhaust at the bottom, so we were worried about like how do we support the bike. But if you come down here, so the mufflers are right here, but the oil pan or whatever sits horizontally at the same place as the mufflers. So we're not worried about damaging the mufflers because once the weight gets on here, if the mufflers do flex, it'll only flex like a millimeter.
Maybe, not even, yeah. So we unfortunately don't have the ability to hang this thing. Which would be probably the safest way to do it would be to kind of, hook something up inside the front of the frame and then hang it from like an engine hoist or, a ceiling, a pivot point in the ceiling or something like that. So
does a typical garage have something like that? Like, that seems like a pretty serious piece of stuff.
So a lot of shops will have a spot above your lift to be able to hook stuff onto. Mm-hmm. And the ones that don't typically will have some sort of engine hoist or something like that you could use in its place.
Oh, okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to support the bottom of the bike. We're going to get this to the point where all the hardware is off of it, so the lower triple will just drop out. And then we'll take the front stand off, pull the triple out, put the new triple in, put the front stand back in it, and take the weight back off of the engine and mufflers. Okay. So hopefully the weight will only be on there for a very brief amount of time. All right, so we're going to need to take off this top steering stem nut.
Is this what we got that little tool for?
Specialty tool for, yep.
So we did have to buy a specialty tool to do this. Got it on eBay. I don't remember how much it cost, but we'll pop it up on the little price thing. So how does this guy work?
Put it on there. It works just like that.
That's it?
That's it.
Is it super tight?
Nope.
So I can do it by hand?
Nope.
Okay.
We might want to try and loosen this bolt for the horn.
Okay.
And then also before we take this off, we wanted to show everybody why exactly we're replacing this lower triple. I don't know, did we point that out already?
No.
Because this is what it's supposed to look like.
Right. I'll be grabbing a tool.
So here is the steering stop. All right, it's on Ducati's lower triples, they actually use an adjustable steering stop. And on our lower triple that we're using right now, these little bungs where the steering stop bolts are in have snapped clean off. So steering stops are important because it stops the handlebars from turning too far and making contact with any of the rest of the bike.
How often at the shop would you see a bike with front end damage that has the steering stops broke off? Because that's not a lot of metal.
It's not, and if you have a front end crash where the front end impacts something, there's a very strong possibility that that will be broken.
Right. Is that all you want to do is just loosen, or do you want to take the whole thing off?
I don't think we're going to be able to get the bolt out because it's so close.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's loose and...
So I'm trying to do everything that we can.
Right.
So when we take the stand out, it's as fast as possible to get it all back together again.
Right. Okay.
Brake stuff out of the way. This went. Yes. Okay.
All right.
Now the bearing goes on.
And it goes on like that.
Yep.
Okay.
And then the race goes on. Good. And then the dust seal goes on.
Does any grease need to go on the seal?
No, make sure that's nice and clean.
Okay. I wiped it, but I'll go another round. This is just to keep like dust, dirt, grime.
That's exactly what it is. Keeps the atmosphere out of the triple clutch, out of the steering head bearings. And then our nut goes back on. Clean the top of this, and then to clean that nut off.
Got it. I'm just wiping the inside threads.
Inside, outside, just
let me get my fingernail in that groove.
exactly.
If we are getting another one of these, it's gonna be okay to like just pop, like once we get out everything installed again, we'll be able to like just pop that off and put a new one on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now we're not going to worry about torquing the steering head bearings right now because we are going to be replacing this, and we'll do that then.
Right, okay.
Okay, so now we can put the stand back in.
All right. Okay.
Now we can remove the flat jack. So that was a nice short period of time that the weight was resting on some place where I typically wouldn't like to rest weight.
Okay, so now just so we have a rolling machine, we're going to
Reassemble everything the way we found it.
right. First things first are the forks.
Well, what did we take off last? Because it wasn't the forks.
Wait, what did we take off last? Are the horns not? I mean the.
Okay, so we need to tighten the horn bracket.
Okay.
And then we need to put this wire clamp back on.
Right.
And then we go to the forks.
Gotcha. Okay.
I feel you moving it around.
No, that's it. That's it. Lock her in.
Put it back up there.
No, look, we got this. Look here.
Post in the comments what the measurement is.
Come on, are you?
That's 1/8. I'm here for it.
Do I need to check it?
No. Lock that B down.
Okay.
B. Do I need to put the waterproof grease on the bolt?
Yes.
Is this middle one tight enough for me to not be scared?
It would have pretty much stayed there. It was staying there before when there were no bolts in it.
I know.
So-
I don't. We can't trust that. I'm trying to keep the resale value on these forks here, so I can give somebody a great deal on used Panigale 959 forks on the used parts section of the Chaseontwowheels.com website. That was better, right?
I missed the wink.
Oh man, you missed the good
Don't
stuff.
over tighten them because remember they weren't real tight, right?
Right. So it's baby tight.
Yeah.
Okay, baby tight. Check.
Okay, now we'll do the other fork.
You're not appreciating
You got
it
it.
the way you should, because I am. Nobody gives as much of a shit about what just happened as
Nope.
I do, but
You
dude,
spun a T-handle in your fingers. I mean,
I
come
left
on.
my gold stars at home, so I'll bring them in next time and give you a gold star.
dude, I'm one step away from being able to do this.
Outstanding.
But you do it. Do your normal thing.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
See? I'm one step away from that. That's my next goal.
You want to know what that other step is?
What?
That you're missing?
What?
Is getting it started. You don't just. You give it a little spin. A little spin with your fingers.
Hold on now. Hold on.
A little spin with your fingers. Spin with your fingers and then let it roll.
Stop bragging. Later, folks. Done.
Come on, we got
son.
work to do. Get your ass over here. God dang it.
So was the strategy just to use your man strength?
Yeah, get it lined up and push it on.
Okay, so this can only go so far down because it touches this, and
Correct.
these have to come all the way up to touch the
Now, if
bottom
you
of
look
this.
at this right here, see that little cutout?
Yes.
That's where the bolt for the pivot, right here, where the
right.
see the little cutout. This little cutout's damaged right there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
So
So this goes into here and should only move back and
and
forth.
that's all you get in your adjustment.
So
You
this
can't-
is the adjustability
and
of
that's
these.
it. It's not a whole lot.
So do these need to be the exact same angle, or does it matter? Like as long as it's inside of that groove, it's
So
fine.
if you look right here, there's also another notch that fits in. Okay, so we just need to make sure that everything is lined up.
Right. Do we need to tighten down the
Oh,
top
this
triple?
one's broken. So if you see on this side, there's this little piece that hangs down,
Actually, that's broken off too. I can see that it's like scratched off.
and then but this one is gone completely.
Dude, thank God we're getting new clip-ons and a new top triple.
Yep.
Yeah, it is worse.
Holy
Okay.
crap.
So before we do anything, let's get this top triple clamp on and pinched.
Okay.
So where's the mallet? And then we're just gonna wanna, just tap this down. And then we can just snug those pinch bolts. Now we're not going crazy because all this stuff is gonna come back off again later, but enough that the forks aren't gonna move anywhere.
Right.
So we can roll this thing around easily. Now get that set in its little place.
Yeah, as much as I can.
Now you want to
before-
make sure that this is as high as it will go. Slide it to the front a little bit. There, right there. All right, our horn is tight. Top triple is all 3 pinches are done. The clip-ons for the handlebars are pinched. From here, we can move forward to, we can put this back on. Right, because that
Right.
was kind of the order that we did it in.
Right.
So go ahead.
And all the wires are already routed the way
Yep,
they were.
We did that. So go ahead and take that piece of tape off. Don't lose your shims and put that back in.
That'd be a funny shirt. Don't lose your shims.
Don't lose your shims. Now sometimes because that little sensor is a magnet, if a piece of metal winds up getting stuck to it,
It'll
you
read
get,
wrong.
you get an ABS failure.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
That is a much bigger deal than I would have expected.
But to fix it, you take that bolt off, you pull the sensor out, you clean the tip of it off, you put it back on again, and away you go.
Okay.
So go ahead and snug that bolt, the 8mm there, 1/4 inch ratchets there.
Again, we're just doing
Just
snug.
snug
Just
it.
to,
Yep. Good.
Time for wheel? Or is there...
Is it time for wheel?
I think so.
I think it's time for the wheel. Okay. So being that our axle goes through the forks and there's pinch bolts that holds everything together,
The ones on the bottom. Right.
because there's pinch bolts, they open, right?
Right.
They're openable.
Yeah.
So because they open, you can get a little bit of play in the
Okay.
end of the fork, side to side,
Right.
right?
Okay.
So before you tighten those pinch bolts, you want to make sure that the bottom of the fork, is perfectly straight.
How do you make sure it's perfectly straight?
So you put weight on the front end
Okay.
and then climb up on the lift and push on the front end down. And the weight will center the bottoms of the forks.
Oh, no shit.
And at that point, you'll tighten this side pinch bolt to hold the axle steady.
Okay.
And then you can tighten the nut, and then you can tighten the pinch bolts on this side.
So from right now, I need to get on top and press it down.
Don't go crazy, just push down on the forks a couple of times. You may want to just slide that out of the way a little bit.
So just
Push, that's it. And that will straighten those
so no more
bottom
than
pin-
that.
That's it, you're done.
Okay.
Now you can snug those pinch bolts and you don't have to go crazy. They get very little torque. Now we're not going through the torquing process of all this stuff because there is a very specific way on how all this stuff gets done.
You're right.
But because we're taking it all back apart again,
Right.
we'll go through that later.
Okay. Okay.
That's it.
This side's done.
Now you can tighten the nut. And that's tight enough for us.
Okay.
Now you can tighten your pinch bolts. That's probably too tight, but go ahead.
Should I back it off?
Nope, because when you tighten the second one,
It'll
that'll
loosen.
relieve a little bit of pressure on the other. That's it. We're good.
And we don't need to reinstall the brakes because they didn't work anyway.
Correct. And we're going to be replacing them, so
Okay.
we'll be making them work later. So that's it. You've just replaced your second triple clamp. Right? Because we did that on
Yay.
the bobber too.
Real grateful. Okay. Yeah, we did do that on the. Well, I think we had to do that on the ZX10 too, right? Because we took that whole thing apart. Okay. That wasn't. I feel like that wasn't too bad, but I feel like that would have been an absolute shit show if you weren't here. So
I bet it would have been.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Not
I'm
only
sure
that, but doing this with all the body work on, woo! Completely different story, my man.
Yeah, that's one thing is like the downfall of the way we do stuff is the way we're doing it is super optimized because everything's taken
But the
off
good
and
thing
we
is
do
you
everything.
learn the ins and outs of how it's supposed to be done. So when you have all the other stuff in the way,
Right. It's just
you
in
only
the way.
you have to worry about the stuff in the way
Right.
and not as much about the ins and outs
Yeah.
of how it needs to be done. You can focus more on the other stuff.
Right. All right, guys, so that's going to be the end of episode 9. I almost kicked it. I legit.
Well, why not? You got steel-toed shoes on.
I know, but still, that would have sucked. I'm smarter than the average bear. So that's the end of episode 9, guys, of Wreck Bike Reboot. If you got to this point in the video, make sure to hit that like button. We massively appreciate it, and it helps get the video out to more people. If you are a huge fan of Panigales, I would recommend you checking out Patreon. That is how we fund the show, and we get to give the bike away to one of those people. I think that's all I got. Next episode, fork change. Right? Next episode, fork change?
Hopefully. Hopefully it'll be Forks Plus.
Right. Oh, yeah, we have a couple other things that we are excited to show you guys. So subscribe to see those episodes, or you can just click the playlist link if it's in the future and we're already done with the bike. I have a feeling it's going to be a pretty one.
I think this bike is going to be really pretty.
All right, guys, I'm Chase. That's Brian. You're being floated around by Luke. This is Wreck Bike Rebuild, and we'll see you on the next one. Outro crew,
Can you do me a favor
maybe.
and bend that brake reservoir bracket back flat again?
Outro crew, go at it.
I'm not talking to the outro crew.
Oh, I thought okay, cool. I'll do it. I got you.